Um, Today, we are pleased to have Collins Injera, Order of the Grand Warrior and a member of the Kenya Rugby Sevens team for the last 10 years. Collins has a lot of accolades in his name, which some include being the top lead try scorer in Kenya rugby history, second in the whole world with 271 tries after Dan Norton, who has 338. Collins has played the most matches, 424, and has most points at 1,443 with the national team. He has represented Kenya twice in the Olympics, 2016 and 2020. Rio. He was part of the Kenyan team that won the 2016 World Rugby 7 series, the Shujaa beating Fiji with 30-7, and was named the Sportsman of the Year in 2019. Yeah. So, Mr. Collins, welcome. And yes, our goal is just to get your view, to educate the upcoming athletes, understand your mindset as a champion and how you conduct your business, your social life, and just the way you handle yourself. The knowledge and experience that you've had in the last 10 years is enough to write a book or more, 3. So in this short period, if you could share some of the lessons that you've learned that could, help coaches or even upcoming athletes just to, improve on their skills. Yeah. So my first question would be like, in your career, you have trained and competed under several coaches, both local and foreign, who have had different philosophies, and they've had great influence on you in your career as a national team player. Maybe probably you could just explain how some of these coaches have influenced your life and your career in sports.
I think, thank you very much, first of all, for having me. I think it's a nice platform to have, just to share, athletes to share their views and what they're doing. And basically, like you said, I think one or two persons can pick, even if they pick one thing from all this conversation, I think it would have impacted on someone. Yeah. I think to begin with, I think it's 17 years for the national team, not 10.
Wow, good. 17 years.
17 years. Yeah. Yeah, but to answer your question, I think, definitely, I think in those 17 years, I've had a couple of coaches. Since I started with the late Benjamin Naimba, may his soul rest in peace. Till when I left the team, it was now the current coach, McGrath. I think I've had lots of coaches who have been in between there. But I think just to answer your question, I would say, I think back in 2014, when Paul True came to be the Kenyan coach.
Yes.
I would say that is the time that I think the few months that we had with him, almost a year that we had with him, I can say it really impacted my way of thinking, how I play the sport, how I approach the game. It just gave me a whole new dimension of things that I never thought about them. Because I think after the 2013 season, after Mike Friday, was also another very good coach that really impacted a lot. But I think I would say Paul True's regime is where I now understood the game, because I think I was just playing the game. Now coming to understand the game, why certain things are done at certain points, why we set it differently, why you just don't do things because you do them. You should look at a whole plan, plan about it, analyze about it, and of course go out there and just execute it. So I would say, I think during the Paul True tenure is when I really learned a lot of my rugby.
Yeah, I remember 2014, I met Tridew in Glasgow.
Yes,
during the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, and I was told he was very scientific in his approach.
Exactly.
He was very scientific in his approach, and that somehow was not very, very conversant with the Kenyan way of doing things.
Yeah. But you see, Yes, very true. I think it wasn't very conversant because even for most of the players, it was still a new thing. I think most of the experienced guys are the ones probably who are trying to get what he's saying. But of course, the rookies, it was very new for them, and I think he tried to expose us to where the game is at right now. I think he was trying to take that next level. I think we had to break that ceiling so that we can be able to achieve the kind of stuff that we are seeing all these big top nations achieving.
Yeah, and you see that's the main reason, the basic reason why we're having this conversation. You see in Kenya, most of our coaches or most of the athletes just do things without knowing the reasons or the science behind what they're doing. And it's something that would really wish to bring into the Kenyan sport. I mean, the coaching fraternity, science makes a lot of difference. Yeah. So it's good you are highlighting that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm having this forum, just to help educate, both coaches and athletes on the use of science.
Yeah.
So, but you said 17 years.
Yes.
The national team. How many times have you captained the team?
I think I've captained the team on quite a few occasions. I think there was a season where I was captain of the season. I think it was, I don't even remember the year. It was just before, I think, Mike Friday came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
then
again, I've been the vice captain for the team for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a vice captain for the team under Wamonde. I think also under Sydney. I'm not sure. It's been many years, but I think, like you said, I've captained the team in various occasions, in different legs. Probably when the captain is not available, that's when I was given the control. But I think there was a season that I was captain, which is I think 2012, if I'm not wrong, or 2011, somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a team captain, and let me call it the main striker, did you have any challenge doing both roles, playing both roles as a captain and again somebody who's being looked upon to ensure that the team wins?
In rugby, we call them finishers.
Finishers.
Not strikers. I think sometimes when you're captain, I think for me, what I try to do is I wouldn't let it affect me too much. Of course, you have responsibility as a captain. There are things that you have to take lead, and also you can't forget this other part of the game, which is your role in the team. I think because the team setup is quite different. Team setup, each and every individual play a very crucial role for the success of the team. And I think for mine, it was I was a finisher, but then again, I started developing into a playmaker. So you see, I had like two roles, which was the challenge I had probably was transitioning from becoming a finisher into becoming the playmaker. And you see that time as well, it was a huge, and then you have this whole leadership thing. Okay. I would say it was a lot to balance, but I think once you calm down and understand your role in the team and play your part in the whole, because the team is like a machine, it's like a bicycle. Kuna wale, there are those who will be the chain, kuna those who will be the wheels. Everyone has their different role to play in the team. And by them working together, which now is brought about by the leadership that is surrounding the team environment, the machine will be able to work. So I think for me, I would say the challenge was there because if you start thinking about all these other things and focus on your role in the team, what you need to play, I think you'll be able to conquer it.
Okay, so meaning that the two roles had different sets of skills that you need to have for you to be able to perform.
Definitely, becoming a captain, you need leadership skills. You need to understand people. I think, like, how do you call it? Human resource, or what this is called? You just
relationship, relating with people.
Exactly, you need good relationship with the team, with the other team members. And you see, for this other one, the role is different. You're a playmaker. You have to make sure the ball moves. You have to make sure the set pieces are working. You have to make sure the team is playing according to the game plan that you are given by the coaches. So it's definitely very different roles, but I think altogether becoming a playmaker and also being part of the leadership group, it helped out a bit because now people are looking looking at you as this senior guy, as this part of the senior player groups, who is also curating the play, who is also trying to make sure that the team is playing according to the game plan.
Yes.
So it kind of feed off each other, and it really helps a lot. Yeah.
You are the engine.
Yeah, exactly.
Amongst the players you've played along with, which one has been of great influence during the breakouts, during the time of play, or even out of field?
That question is, what is it? Internationally?
No, locally, just to the Shuja team.
Okay. That's a tough question because I've been in very different setups. But I think what I can point out is, in terms of influential, I think it's the former captain Humphrey, who was part of the team. I think when Kenya was just starting to rise to being the Kenya that people now are afraid of, I think he really steered the ship well. He, considering where we were coming from, I think he really steered the ship well in terms of leadership, and also in terms of just playing the game, taking the game, grabbing the game by the bare hands and running away with it. I think he kind of embodied the whole fighting spirit, and also some very good shots and very good leadership skills. And I think after that, in came, I think, Andrew Amonde, who also, I think, played big part in terms of just continuing with that kind of leadership, that you lead through showing how how it's done. You just don't lead by talking and commanding and directing. I think when you do it, it's even easier for the other guys just to follow, and also to be able to do the things.
Yeah, Humphrey is my friend. Maybe is there any particular occasion that something in particular that he did that really inspired you in terms of team leadership?
I think in terms of leadership, he was really that hands-on kind of leader. He really made sure that everyone is up to speed with what's happening. I think another thing he really did well was he made sure he gelled with everyone. It didn't matter if you're a junior guy, if you're a senior guy. I think just how he carried himself in terms of that leadership role and as a team captain. He wasn't one of those captains that just sit around and command. I think what he did was he went out and played the game well, because when he tells you something, and also I think one thing that I can really pick out was his humility. I think he could take corrections even from a junior guy. If he knew he'd done something probably as soon as he wasn't supposed to be doing, he could listen and understand, and also just tell you it's okay. I think next time I will try. And he was solution oriented.
Yeah, I agree with you. Leadership is quite challenging, especially in a team setup where you have meet different people from different backgrounds with different perspectives. For you to be able to bring them together and do the same thing or go as per the plan, I know it's not an easy feat. So my next question would be, in the different roles that you've played, finisher, playmaker, captain, the titles that you've won, have you ever faced a negative talk? And how do you handle negative talk?
Definitely. I think once you're in the spotlight, I think once you start representing the national team and you start getting the results, of course, there'll be the critics. I would call them critics. I would not say negative talk, though sometimes it looks like it's negative. But I think they've been there. They've been in the media. They've been from the fans. Sometimes you just go to your social media after a game, you open it up, and guys are there bashing you and talking all sorts of things. I think for me is how I came to learn about it very quickly was just to ignore, simply because sometimes you tell people to ignore and the person will ask you. It's very hard to ignore. I think how I ignore it is that I look at it in two different ways. Is it something that I can control, or is it something that I can't control? So basically, that is how I respond to many of the things that I deal with. And if it's something that I can control, then I'll respond to it. If it's something that I don't have control over, which is that guy or that person or that critic or that media paper just writing bad words and negative comments on you. That's something that you can't control. What I have control is how I respond to them. You see, if I start going them and start answering them and all that, then I'm attracting that bad energy towards me. So I can read them, yes. I just look at them. Sometimes you get that really great urge of responding. But I came to learn very quickly that you don't have to respond to everything because you have no control of what they're telling you. Everyone has their opinions and they're entitled to it. So you just avoid, and I keep moving on. If it's true that I made a mistake or I did something, then I have to go back and work on it.
All right. So meaning before any game, do you look at your social media accounts, or as part of you blocking those negatives, you just shut it off?
We have a rule. Of course, with technology nowadays, there's absolutely, I think, no way you could be able to avoid social media because we travel a lot. I think that's the only way probably get in touch with our families and all that, your friends, and just trying to see what's happening around the world. But I think for us, how we try to manage it is we call it a 50-minute rule. Before every game, for 50 minutes, we stay away from our phones. We keep our phones away. We start now focusing on the game. You start preparing psychologically. You start visualizing about the game. You start creating the just that you need them to happen on the field, and just get into the zone. And I think that really helps. But of course, after a game, as you part of winding down and switching off, you can go to social media, you can go to your movies, whatever it is. But I think just before a game, we try and have that 50-minute rule where there's no phones, no social media, nothing.
It's not easy. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. The temptation to
exactly
look at who is talking and, even you communicating with people and being able to stay away from your phone for 50 minutes. It's not easy if you're really not focused.
Exactly.
And you know exactly.
I think, like you said, once you're focused, those 50 minutes quite fly away because you're not just seated in one place. You are there, you are trying to get your hydration in, you're trying to get your strapping, if you need strapping, you're trying to get your game plans. If you have the game, you can watch the game, analyze the opponent. I think by the time you know it, it's already warm-up time. Before you know it, you're in. Before you know it, the game has finished. You've either won. And you come back and you're back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, some opponents use it quite a lot to intimidate you and, get into your nerves, or probably somebody was not selected.
Yes.
Probably thought that without you, they would have been in the team. So
they would have been in the team, exactly. But
yeah,
like I said, you can't control it. You just leave it alone.
Yeah. May I ask this? Why do you put on jersey number 11? Is there any ritual to it? Any particular meaning you attach to number 11? Or
I think number 11, it became the symbolic number. For me, how I got it, I didn't even know it was going to be this big number 11. When I went to the team, I used to play, I was a winger. And for a winger, it's either for a 15th winger, it's either 11 or 14.
Okay.
And there was no 14 at that time because 7th jerseys at that time, it was number 1 to 12 only. Nowadays is when they've opened up, you can choose a number that you want because people have these lucky numbers that they have. A guy would say I'd come and wear 99. So that time it was only jersey 1 to 12. And you see there was no 14. So I took the only jersey that you can be recognized as a winger, which was 11. So when I picked up 11, I played with it for one tournament and I liked it. I went to the other tournament, I still played with 11, I stuck to it. And then I just became a consistent figure in the team. And that's why I continued playing with 11 until now 11 blew up and became this number that, Collins was wearing. So for me, of course, at some point it started being, what is it called? It started being symbolic because now there's no tournament that I would go and not wear number 11. I think even for the invitational sides that I played with, they knew number 11 now. If Collins Injera is coming number 11, we have to put Collins Injera on number 11. Yeah.
The reason why I'm asking this, people have beliefs or lucky numbers or certain things they do that builds their confidence. And if they don't do it, they don't feel comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I understand. And when you mentioned superstition, I think there's a point I started getting that superstitious, because now you see I was only 11, but now when I started a family, my daughter was born in 2011,
all right.
and suddenly started being superstitious. It just started being that kind of thing that I have about
11.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've noticed that you're very agile. You are good at sidestepping. You're very fast, and you hardly run into opponents. There's this guy you call Buffalo.
Yes.
Him, his style of play is going through and passing through
Yeah.
opponents. But for
Yeah.
you, it's quite different. Is it something that you do out of will, or that's just the way you're made to play your game?
I think, like you said, like a guy, if you lose a guy like Buffa, his kind of play is totally different. He loves running through guys, love going forward, love using the handoffs and all that. But in a team setup as well, different positions require different skill sets.
Mm.
And for me as a winger, I had to be very evasive. And by becoming evasive, you have to make sure that you have fast feet, your agility is on point, you have a bit of speed, you think quick on your feet. And I think these are the attributes that probably when I grew up, I came up with them naturally. And then when I just go to the national team, I just started refining and refining and refining and think until some of them just became like second nature. So sometimes you'll get a ball and I'll just instinctively do something. And a guy will come and ask me, how did you do it? But it's just instinctively, because
Yes.
I've done it over a time until it became second nature. And of course, there are things, it's something that, yes, you might have naturally, but at the end of the day, you still have to train it. Something like agility, you can't say I'm agile because I came up, I was a fast guy. You have to keep training it. Speed, people, you have to keep training speed. And also that quick reaction and thinking. These are things that you can keep on working on them just to help you make sure you have that edge over other players.
So in terms of your playing ability, the skills that you need or require, is there any that you feel or you felt that was not adequate and you worked on it and brought it up to the level that made
Yeah,
everybody happy?
definitely. I think when I joined the team, I could only pass with my right hand. I could not do a
Okay.
left pass.
Okay.
Yeah, because those are the basic rugby skills, which is passing, communication. But for me, I used to pass very well with my right. But then again, my left hand was the one which was letting me down. And I told myself, I really have to work on this left pass. So every time I used to go on the field, I just make sure I do my 50 passes, I do my 100 passes, just to make sure that I get there. Because I knew at one point that would be the game changer. And funny enough, my left hand now started becoming my stronger hand. Even my right
Okay.
hand didn't have that good of pass than my left hand. And like I said, it's something that you have to keep training. I think if you are honest with yourself, you understand your weaknesses and work on them, then you'll be in a good place.
Uh, you're very fast. Have you ever tried the sprints?
Honestly, I've never. Um,
And have you ever thought about
I
it?
think I believe I always run fast with that ball in my hand.
Not chasing wind.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
run
but
fast when being
I'll start
chased.
getting down and start. Yeah, if I'm being chased, then I love that thrill. But I think, like I said,
Okay.
I've never tried my hand on sprints. I've
Okay.
had so many suggestions, guys asking me, but I think it was just meant to be that way. I think for
All
me, I
right.
love running the rugby field. Yeah.
Yeah, people are motivated differently. In terms of the players that you've encountered in your tournaments, is there any
Yeah.
particular player that you would really wish to recommend for any upcoming athlete to watch and probably embrace the skills that they use?
Cool. Um,
Even
of course,
any
I've
that you
learned so
learned
many guys.
something from.
Yeah,
You
I
must
think
have
I
learned
learned so
something
many.
from someone, from a player,
Exactly.
maybe. Yeah.
I've learned a couple of things from guys. There was, of course, I picked up something from growing up when I started playing the game. When I was still in high school, I used to watch Johnny Wilkinson from England, and just how
Top
he
try scorer.
took ownership. he took ownership, he took the game by on himself, and just tried to make sure everybody around him looks good. And just he delivered. I think he delivered when it mattered. And of course, coming up, starting playing in these sports, I think I've always said, even for me, I think one thing I really want to do is leave the place better than I left it, which I hope I've done. And also just to make sure that I've made an impact. I think one thing I want to be remembered of is the guy who always gave his 100. It doesn't matter if it was training, it doesn't matter if it was the game. It's the guy who always gave his all on the field.
Yeah, that's more on the human side of him.
Yeah.
In terms of playing the game. Most people think that rugby is a very dangerous game, and could you just highlight your experience and how one can stay safe and longer in the game without encountering any major injury? Of course, nobody seeks for injuries, but is there a way someone can try to be on the safe side, like in any other sport?
Yeah, I think like in any other sport, like you said, I think they have their risks. Any sport that you play has its own risks. But I think, like you said, because rugby is a contact sport, the risk probably might be higher. But I think my advice would be just train hard, condition your body. You need to do a good work in your conditioning, in your pre-season, so that you can prepare your body to be able to take those kind of hits. And I think, like you said, it's a sport where you need to be physically fit. Number one, your body needs to be able to respond to the knocks and bumps. So I think for me, my advice would be train well, make sure you condition your body well. I think there's one key opponent that many players usually forget, which is recovery. I think recovery is everything. If you recover well and avoid things that will slow down your recovery, I think that will be very key in helping you perform in any sport, not just rugby.
Would you, beside the plan that the coach's technical bench would give you, is there a way, would you kindly describe for me how you prepare for your major championships, or rather the food, rest, how you focus, and and the techniques that you as a person use just to prepare for the championship, beside what the technical bench is telling you?
Of course, beside what the technical bench is telling you, I try, first of all, to maintain a very healthy mental space. Try so much in talking. I always have a lot of self-talk, because we don't have the luxury probably of other teams that they have say psychologists that can talk to and all that. But I think I try as much as possible, make sure that I'm in that space, that I'm in a happy place. We in rugby like calling it a happy place. If you're in a happy place, then performance definitely will follow up. I try boost my energies, because it's not every day that you'll be motivated. Sometimes you'll wake up feeling quite low, but I think discipline yourself to be able to do that thing that you don't want to do. It's always helps you in terms of the whole in the long setup. So for me, I try, first of all, be in a happy place. I have a lot of this self-talk. I set for myself targets that I need to do as an individual. If it's my passing that I need to work on, I do that. I always set these mini goals that will help me achieve the longer goal, which in return will be able to translate into the team performance.
So you negotiate with your negative thoughts?
Yeah, I won't say okay, it's a bit of negotiating, because you'll have them sometimes. Like I said, there are days you'll wake up feeling, you say, I don't want to go for training, and let me call in sick. Of course, those are the negative thoughts. But then again, you just wake up and say, I'm committed to this. I have to be disciplined about it. And by the time you just fight in that few, I think the bigger fight is in that few 2-3 minutes that you're still deciding or negotiating, like you say, with your negative thoughts. But once you're past that, once you just wake up and say, I am going for this training, they disappear. And so you find yourself getting that own energy back, getting that mood back for training or for games.
And that would also go for, you see, when I say you're negotiating with yourself, there is that part of you that tells you, don't do this or do this. And then sometimes when you're having your self-talk, you tell yourself, Collins, no, you can't do that.
Exactly.
That also helps in terms of overcoming your fears, your doubts. It's how you negotiate. It's about negotiation because you're talking to somebody else, not you.
Yes, not you.
Yeah, you telling Collins, saying Collins, no, can't go there. Yeah. So I think it's a skill that you have to master on how to block, the negatives and the other person who sometimes, tells you to do stuff which is not really going to translate to what you aspire for. So it's something that people need to know and understand. Yeah, not all you think, not all your thoughts are true. Yeah, so unless you go to tell what is right and what is not, vis-a-vis what you want to achieve. Yeah,
and you see, it takes a lot of practice as well, because you just can't wake up one day and say I'm very good at self-talk, like you said, or I'm very good at negotiating with my negative thoughts. I think at first you'll start, you might struggle, but it keeps taking practice and practice. Once you continue doing that, it helps you with that.
I agree with you. Everything is mental. Everything is the thought that comes in and how you execute it. It starts from the head to the heart, and then to the hands. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you, of all the matches that you've played in, of course, you've won some, you've lost some. Some made you happy, some got you disappointed. Would you kindly highlight for me one particular match that you really felt disappointed, that didn't go the way you had planned and expected, and then how you handled that loss?
I think there was one match which I can highlight, which was in Hong Kong, I think, versus Wales. We were playing the game. It was a very tough game, by the way, but we ended up scoring around the last minute of the game. And we were leading the team. We were leading Wales by, I think, 3 points. I remember we kicked off. We came back for a kickoff. We played, then got a penalty. And at that time, like I told you, I was the playmaker. And I looked at the clock. I saw it was around 15 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. And I decided to fool around. I took the penalty instead of doing what is right, which was kick it out and go for the line out and get the ball back and just wind down the clock, or even call for a scrum down, which will in turn wind down all that 15 seconds. I decided to scratch the ball, which to restart the ball and start jogging slowly towards our try line. And I was doing that. I got tackle. I offloaded the ball to one of my teammates who also got tackle, and we ended up losing the ball. And after that, Wales recovered possession. The hooter had gone. They continued playing without making any kind of mistake until they scored. And we ended up losing that game. And I think one big lesson I take from that is once you are ahead, or once you are doing the right thing, it is not, keep doing it. Don't start thinking that now this is over. This is a done deal. I've already passed this stage, and now you can start now fooling around thinking that nothing will ever happen, because these things happen fast. And I think it also applies to life. Once you are doing great things in life, that's when you get these funny thoughts. And that's when the devil starts whispering in your ear. If it's your education, you're doing well, that's when it starts whispering, oh, you don't need to go to class today, do this. And you start listening to that little voice that is whispering in your ear. I think that's when now you start fumbling things. And you see, for me, it happened firsthand. And I knew this, once Wales got the possession, I knew this might end very badly, and it did end very badly. And you see, these chances you don't get like a second chances in it. Once they happen, they'll mess you up. I think, like I said, in life as well, it has really taught me, I think, when you are doing good things, I'm a family man, when you're handling the family well, you're handling your things well, that's when you start getting these kind of distractions. And when you start listening to the distractions, you 99% of the time you will end up destroying the good thing that you've made. So yeah, I'd say, to answer your question, I'd say it's that one match that really was with me. Yeah.
That's a very important, a very, very important lesson, both in the field and outside. And I know any rugby player who would be listening to this will learn a lot from that. Even me, I didn't know that technicality. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, now that's the technical bit of the sport, that it's not just kicking and running and throwing and
Exactly.
bringing people down. So if you do not know
Yeah.
the technical part of the game,
Part of the game, it's tough.
so you lose based on technicality. Not that you don't know how to play, but just on.
Yeah. Yes.
I know the Wales guys must have thanked you so much. Yeah.
It was sad, and they were happy. They kept running. Some of them came and tapped my head because I was lying down, and it felt
Yes.
bad. It felt bad. You see,
Yeah.
that was the only time I think we were on the verge of making our first quarterfinals during that season.
Yeah.
So you lost that chance of going into the quarterfinals that season.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope other guys would learn from it and not make the same mistake again. That's why we're having this kind of conversations. You see, for the 17 years you've been in the game and with the team, if they do not have somebody, talking to them or saying something that can really make a lot of impact in terms of performance. Yeah. That's why it's important that people with experience, stay around and share their knowledge, so that investment does not go to waste.
Yeah.
Body weight. I'd like to maybe talk about your experience with your body weight and what you feel is your ideal playing body weight. And I know in 2009, I came across an article where you went for trials in South Africa and they rejected you for not having the ideal body weight that they would imagine a rugby player to have. What is your ideal body weight?
I think, like you said, body weight, of course, as you get older, it changes. Your ideal body weight now starts changing, but you have to condition your body as well to be able to carry that weight. And like you said, I think back in 2009, I was quite small. I think I was weighing like 50 kgs.
60.
80
wow.
kilograms. And you see, 80 at that time, rugby was being played by very, very big guys. And for me, I think, like I said, I went down to Western Province, which also hosts the Stormers. I went down there I think they just wanted to see me, and they told me I'm quite tiny, I'm quite small. And then I came back. I decided, they told me I have to go down there and train for around 6 months without any game, because I was quite small. And of course, I felt really bad. But then again, I saw it as a chance to be able to venture into other things that would probably help my life at the end of my career. And that's when I decided to go to Leicester University and do my public degree. And after that, my weight has been increasing. I got from 80 to 85. From 85, I got to around 89. I stuck at 89 for the longest time. But then again, I think in 2013, I went to around 91, 92. So I would say my ideal body weight would be around 90 kilograms, 91, 92 kilograms there.
So that's where you feel comfortable.
That's where now I feel comfortable in playing.
So that asked you for a 15s aside or a 7s aside?
15s aside.
Wow. 15s, huge guys.
It's huge guys. And that time, South African rugby had very, very big guys.
Actually, the 15s was the main thing.
That's a big change. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And have they ever tried to reach out when they saw you now?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Never tried, never got back. Because me, how I responded, I just told them, I asked them if the 6 months would mean that am I coming down there to if I'm training, am I on a contract? Am I getting some money to survive and all that? And they told me you'll be staying in an academy and you won't be getting any. If it's training, you'll be getting rights from different players who are coming for training. And you see, I saw that and said, why should I do that? Let me just go back to uni and work on something that probably would come and help me at the end of my career.
All right. It's so sad, and I know the guy who made that decision could be regretting, for having let you go a few years down the line.
maybe not, but I think it was.
I know there's quite a huge connection between South Africa and Kenya, and I know probably some of the players, they know the story, and they're saying this guy giving us hard time. We had asked him to come and play for us, and for some reasons we rejected him.
Probably that's what they said, and he's too small as well. So why are you wasting time with him?
You mentioned during the 50 minutes timeout. Is it timeout? Yes. When you black out everything and concentrate on. You said you watch your opponents at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. I think because we have this analysis, we always do analysis for different teams that we play. And you see the coaches always have this team like iPads or laptops that we load the game in and just cut clips of where we need to improve, where their weaknesses are, or where we need to hit them. And you see that is the time probably you just refresh, because before that would have done analysis way before. Okay. But during that 50-minute rule is when you just come down and just refresh yourself, start getting yourself in that mood, understanding how they're playing, what they're doing. Probably there's something we would have missed during the main analysis that somebody would have seen now and just say, hey, by the way, this is what we need to do. So that's when we do that kind of analysis.
So what I want to find out, where I'm leading to with this question is, do you, like a winger, do you particularly look at, try to analyze the person who you're going to face most of the time, or it's just all analysis of the team?
I think how it happens, what we do is, first of all, you analyze the team because you're going to play as a team. Then after that, it's either the coach can if they have a very, like for me, I'm a winger, and probably their wing is very little. The coach will come and tell me, this is how you need to defend. This is how we need to make sure it happens, because so that he can't get the ball. So, of course, coaches will always share their tactics. And of course, you as an individual as well, you try and watch that winger, how he's playing, what are his strengths. Is the right foot step quite good, or the left foot step is good? Does he have a good handoff? If he has a good handoff, then I know I have to tackle low. Or is he small? Is he big? You see, there's so many things that would come before you as you're looking at the player, you certainly know definitely my heavier than him. What do I need to do? Do I need to make him, if he's a very good attacking player, then that means I have to make him defend more, so that when it reaches his attack time, he doesn't have the strength or the energy to attack. So there are so many aspects that go into analyzing that player. Of course, as an individual, I do my own research, but then again, as a team, and then even the coaches actually have their own analysis and they share it with us.
Yeah, that's key, to do your own personal analysis, especially in a team event. Once the coach talks to everybody, some would assume that, okay, fine, we are good to go. So if you do not go deep and get to know your opponent, then you may not perform as you may want to. My other concern is, people who win are somehow different in a way. There's something different that they do, or there's something that they've invested in that they don't want to share with people.
Yeah.
Do you have do you have something that's selfish that you only keep to yourself that make you perform while in the field? There's that secret that you don't want to share with people. I know now you're not so active, so don't.
I know. If it was a secret, I wouldn't even share with you. Yeah, but I don't think so. I think because it's a, you see, I like to answer this question quite differently, because if it's a team sport, once you start having secrets and not sharing with your team members, it will mean that you are becoming now selfish and your agenda is not for the team performance. But if it's an individual sport like athletics or something, definitely if I have my own what is it called, my own secrets that I have, probably I'd say during this time I increase my speed, or I do this, that would work best for me. But I think for a team setup, I think you have to understand each and everyone's weaknesses first, each and everyone's strengths. And you see, it's I wouldn't say it's a secret. You have to be open with your teammates, have the honest conversations, and in turn, it will help you all perform together as a team. I don't think there's any secret, because it's not like if you're having supplements, not like I'm taking my supplements undercover. It's not that like I have my secret, probably like you said, superstitious short that I always wear. I don't have that. I think for me, I've always been that one guy who believes even if you have an idea, just share it, because at the end of the day, you might be in a situation in the field, and because of the simple reason that you shared your secret or whatever it is with your teammate, you'd be able to maneuver a very sticky or tough situation in the field. Because if I have a secret, probably let me say, what kind of a secret can I have? Let me say, I know that I'm a very good, let me say, right foot stepper. Eh? So probably I'd use it for my opponents. I wouldn't want them to know that. But for my teammates, I'd want them to know it, because if I catch the ball and probably just see me trying to get that right foot, he knows which line to which line to run, and he knows how to support me. And you see, it really helps. At the end of the day, it helps with it. Or I have a very good offload off my left. So you see, it's something that would help the team grow. But if I don't tell him and I do it and expect him to be there, probably he would have been coming this other side. And I'm trying to. So I don't think it's nice for team members to share secrets. I think it's nice for you to share with your. Oh, I don't think it's nice for team members to keep secrets. I think it's nice for them to share with their teammates, so that they'll be able to help you as well in sticky situations.
Let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that question in this manner, that people are different, and people get motivated differently.
Yes.
People get to get their focus differently. So I mean, as a person, what do you do to keep you that motivated and focused? You see,
I
there's
think for me,
like the self-talk we are talking about. There are certain things you tell yourself that I'm son of so and so. Once like a mantra, you tell yourself that however strong, however fast, however, whatever you are, whatever color, whatever shape, yeah. Once I get
I
that
think
ball, you will not stop me. You see,
I
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I get you now. Now I get you. I think I sum it up with one thing. I'd sum it up as for me, I always tell myself every time I step on the field, I have to try and be better than the last time I was on that field. So even if I play the game in the morning, I play the game again around midday, I have to be better than how I was in the morning.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that is what always drives me. I always say to myself, I have to be better for this. Even if I played a superb game the previous game, I come and tell myself, I have to be better this. So for me, I think it's that urge to always trying to be better, always working to improve yourself.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Like any other person, people have different challenges. Is there anything that you've struggled with over time and probably overcome it, or still working on it just to make you be ideal Collins that you want to be?
I'd say it's balancing of your life, your sporting life, and your general just life, just in terms of your social, your family, and all that. Because at the end of the day, you still have to perform. You see, sports is for us, it's a performance-based kind of industry. If you don't perform, then people will say, "Oh, you are failing. You're doing this." But then again, you also have to balance that with your family, and sometimes it takes over. You might end up finding yourself focus so much on the sporting side and forgetting your life, forgetting yourself, forgetting your social life, forgetting your friends, forgetting your family, and all that. But I think for me, I learned that quite early, because by the time I was playing rugby, I was still balancing it with my education. So I was doing rugby, I was still doing university. And then during that time, I got a baby. So it was a lot. And one thing I came to realize is prioritizing. I think once you get your priorities right, because everything has its season. At this time, I was in school at this time, this is the time that I need to get focused, because probably exams are coming, end of year exams are coming, or end of semester exams are coming. So you have to prioritize that.
Yes.
Of course, it will start affecting, but once you prioritize, I don't think it affects much as you trying to get everything working together. Once you prioritize, for me, if it was rugby time, I knew this is World Cup time. I have to prioritize my training and do this. So it basically comes down to your own personal and your own individual priorities. Where are your priorities? Because they'll keep changing. You can't say, I'm prioritizing rugby and that's it. Because you'll fail on these other areas. Because at the end of the day, the lessons you learn on the field, most of the time, if not always, you get to apply them in life. And the things that you learn in life, also get them to apply in rugby. So I think it comes down to you prioritizing and understanding at that given point, what is the priority that you need to deal with. And I think that's how I was able to try and overcome that kind of challenge. But it's tough. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes I still struggle with it, because now for example, I have 3 kids. Now I have to make sure I give that family time, but I also have to train, and I also have to go for tours, and I also have to see my friends. You see, it's such a big balance. But once you prioritize and understand where your priorities are, then you should be good.
Yeah, having that personal awareness is, I would say, it's not something that comes easy. It's not only in sports, even in professional life. Not many people are able to balance, their lives. You find that there's an area that will be lagging behind, not because you want to, but because of life demands that sometimes forces you not to pay much attention to what you should be paying attention to. But if you're able to have that personal awareness and, of course, have your key priorities taken care of, it's something that if you managed well, you have to be grateful to your God, because not many of us do that. So, if you were to look back 20 years ago, coming back to self-talk, what would have you told Collins?
What I would tell Collins?
The advice Collins that Mr. Collins, Colo, please do ABCD and not CDE.
I think for me, what I would advise Collins at the 20 years, when I was still 20 years, is this sport is a professional sport, and it will break your heart so many times, more that it will make you laugh. And how to deal with it is basically what I spoken up earlier, because now I'm advising the Collins who is 20 years old.
Yes.
I think the sport, it will shatter your heart so many times, but then again, it's very beautiful. And you will also achieve the biggest of your dreams. So what I would advise him to do is don't take up things personally. Be very true to yourself. Be very real. Have that honest conversation with yourself first, without waiting for anyone else. And also, I think what I would tell him is be you. don't try and be someone else. Be authentic. Whatever you have is enough, because it is the one that will get you there, and it is the one that will maintain. Don't compare yourself with anyone, and just be you and be true to yourself. And yeah, things will happen the way they are supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's it's quite a challenge to many people, being yourself. Majority would like or love to please others, be like others, and in the process, they miss out on being their ideal self, so they can't learn.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's quite profound. If somebody can get to know that as early as 18, 20, that this life is not about other people, it's about you and your focus, what you want to achieve. So you got to concentrate on that, learn on your weaknesses, capitalize on your strengths, yeah, and decide on what you want to do and do it best.
Yeah.
So far, so good. What do you think you have achieved, and what is your next mission with this game or this sport?
I think I achieved what I could achieve. Of course, I had like I told you, I had my main goal and my mini goals. I achieved most of them. And I think for me, like you say, with this sport, I think I would really love to see this sport break the barrier. I would really love to see this sport go to the next level. I think for me, I've been fortunate to have a bit of taste of how a professional setup or a professional sport could work. We've been there, but I think at the moment we are coming down. We have a bit of challenge, but I think I would really love also for the other guys who are coming up to have a taste of what we had, to have a taste of lifting that cup, to have a taste of playing the sport and just being paid for just doing that. You don't have to come outside and look for other things. You don't have to worry about your next medical, how it is, or you worry about your next meal, or worry about the landlord. I think for me, that's what I would really love for these young guys who are coming up, to be able to have a taste of that. Because I've had a taste of that. I won't even lie. But because of challenges and things that came in, we started dropping. But I think I would really want to still get involved with the sport. Like I always say, it's only fair for me to share, because 17 years, you just can't throw it down the drain. I think there must be something, even if it's not everything, there must be something that I can be able to share. I can get involved with the game in different capacities. It doesn't have to be coaching, it doesn't have to be conditioning. I think there are so many capacities that can still get back involved in the game. In terms of development, there's still I can be a referee. I think there's just a lot that you can still get involved. And for me, I think I probably started my club, Mwamba. I just started getting involved with Mwamba Rugby, and just helping those young boys also dream. Because I think when they have people like us among them in the club, it's really nice for us to show up and lead them and show them how things are supposed to be done.
Yeah, that would be very good of you. Most athletes just fade away, once they're done. Once they're done, they like throw a towel and walk away completely. It's good to come back and or rather be around others and share whatever knowledge, experience that you have, and in whatever capacity, as you've stated, a referee, even just being around to help with secretarial work, you still find an opportunity to advise, in terms of the technical knowledge that you've acquired over the time. And of course, in terms of you have a lot of experience in terms of playing against other teams, visiting other teams, seeing how other teams do their things or stuff, how they work, how they, try to improve on whatever they are doing. So it's good to be around your team. If it is Mwamba, if it is a national team, yeah. So just before we end, anything that you would like to advise any upcoming athlete, and even to the guys who are now at the national team level?
I think it's the same advice that I would give my 20-year-old self. I think just to add to that would be, and I'll try to put it as a quote, and I say it's never about the opportunity of a lifetime. It's about the lifetime of that opportunity. And just to break it down, it's there are many players, many guys coming up. They say, hey, this is my opportunity. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. I have to make sure I play in these Kenya Sevens and just go for tours. I think for me, I see opportunities as being there everywhere. Opportunities are there everywhere. You will miss this one, you'll get the next one. I think opportunities keep coming up. It's what you do when they pop up, because you might think, because you think that this is an opportunity of a lifetime, which is going to the Kenya Sevens. But there's opportunity for you at the club level to be able to work hard, to be able to make it into the first team, to be able to be consistent, to be able to play your role well. You see, those are still opportunities. It's what they keep showing up every day. You go for training, they're there. But what do you do with them? So that's why I always say it's never about the opportunity of a lifetime. It's about the lifetime of that opportunity.
So it's always good to be ready and prepared for any opportunity that shows up.
Exactly. Because you never know how long it might stay.
And some say that the future is here. It's only that it's not evenly distributed. It's all over. So it's you to.
It's you to see where it is and make.
Yes. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. Myself, I've learned a lot from you, and I believe anybody would be watching this would also, will also pick some key lessons in terms of being an elite player and as a person, living your life in and outside the game. So thank you so much, and I wish you well in your next move.
Thank you.
And I hope we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. And I mean, just to say, I think thank you. Of course, thank you very much for having me. And I wish you all the best as well. And I know it's gonna be something good. I think we have to touch lives as well and inspire generations.
Yep. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.